Nestled in the heart of the Baraboo Hills, Devil's Lake State Park is a hidden gem in Wisconsin that truly feels like stepping into another world. From towering bluffs, crystal clear waters, and scenic hiking trails, this park offers some of the most breathtaking views in the Midwest. In today's video, we'll take you on a journey through this incredible landscape and show you why it's a must-visit destination for both nature lovers and adventure seekers alike. Being a huge hiking enthusiast, I recently heard about this state park as being named one of the best places to hike here in the Midwest. So, needless to say, we had to make the 185-mile drive from Chicago in order to see it. Established in 1911, it's the oldest and largest state park in Wisconsin, covering over 9,000 acres of land. The park was named after its main feature, Devil's Lake, a pristine 360-acre lake that sits within a deep gorge created by ancient glacial activity. As we arrived, we entered through the South Shore entrance, which is located on the southern end of the park, accessible from County Road DL. The winding pathway from that entrance is approximately 0.8 miles long, and it's a short and scenic drive through the wooded area of the park, leading directly to the main parking lot near the beach and trailheads. I strongly recommend purchasing a parking pass online prior to getting to the park, and you can find more information on this by heading to www.devilslakewisconsin.com. Once you're on this website, you will go to the menu and hover over the plan section and then scroll to stickers and fees. This is where you can find the most up-to-date information on pricing. Once you're ready, you can click on the link to purchase your parking pass. Here, you can use the drop-down menu to select your resident status and sticker pass type. Then, you'll finish filling out the rest of the section at the bottom and head to the next screen to provide your payment information. You can then print your pass and place it on your car when you arrive. Resident daily parking is $13, while non-resident daily parking is $16. We had driven in on a Sunday afternoon, and that was probably our biggest mistake. The park was packed, which meant that the parking lot was filled to the max with cars, so much so that we needed to drive 4.5 miles around the entire lake to kill some time to get back in. Luckily, when we came back this second time, we did find parking. Here on the south shore of the park, you'll find bathrooms as well as concession stands and boat rentals. The concession stands here offer a variety of food and beverages such as snacks, ice cream, sandwiches, and other refreshments. They also have basic camp items like firewood, ice, souvenirs, and clothing items like shirts and hats. As for the boat rentals, the park offers a range of options including single and double kayaks, stand-up paddle boards, and paddle pontoons. Prices range from $17 an hour for a single kayak to $35 an hour for a paddle pontoon. It's best to call ahead and or arrive early as availability can become pretty limited during those busy times. Although we started our journey here on the south shore, the north shore of the park does have many of the same things such as concessions, boat rentals, and bathrooms. We were just told that the south shore entrance is typically less busy than the north shore. My husband stayed behind with the kids as I walked towards the hill and made my way up to the trail. This ended up being my second mistake, not bringing someone with me, and I'll explain why later. Now, if you're starting your day here on the South Shore area like we were, the East Bluff will be located on your right side and the West Bluff will be on the left side. I was told that for better views, go on the West Bluff, which would have been on the left side of the lake. However, I opted to go on the east side this time since it was closer to the famous Devil's Doorway rock formation. It's considered one of the most photographed landmarks in the park. Okay, so once you reach the end of the first trail from where the lake is, you'll see a railroad track. You'll want to cross over it and head to the trails behind it. This is going to bring you closer to the hill. Although these tracks are active, there is no train station within the park itself. Now, I was kind of bummed out by this because I would have loved to come to the park using a train rather than by car. Now, the trains that do pass through here now are primarily freight trains. I eventually passed over the rocks and went into this wooded area here, which provides a steady incline and a winding path that gradually gains elevation as you head towards the bluff. The forested portion of the trail is shaded and offers a tranquil environment, which makes it a pleasant yet moderately challenging hike before reaching the steeper and rockier sections of the East Bluff. It was really sunny on this day, so it was nice to have the extra shade. I did have to stop and ask for directions several times, and people here were just so friendly. There's something about being out in nature that simply brings out the best in people. Luckily, there are maps and signs basically everywhere to help you navigate the trails, but it didn't stop me from getting confused, and that's to be expected, especially if it's your first time here.
There's no holding hands right now. Unless you're Emma.
Hey, go slow.
You were to take me.
Now, completely unbeknownst to me, I went up one of the hardest trails at the park. And no, I did not intend to do this initially, but hey, the workout ended up being worth it. The trail is called the Pothole Trail, a short but steep and rocky climb up the East Bluff of Devil's Lake. The trail is named for the glacial potholes carved into the rock along the way. It's connected with other trails like the Balanced Rock Trail and the East Bluff Trail, making it a popular route for those looking for a more challenging descent with unique rock formation. Pothole Trail is known for its difficulty due to the rocky path that requires hikers to basically scramble over boulders in some areas, making it both physically demanding and rewarding for those seeking a challenge. It covers a distance of approximately 0.3 miles up from the base to the top of the East Bluff, and the hike can take anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes to complete. Of course, this varies depending on your pace and fitness level. I'd say that for me, it took about 35 to 40 minutes to complete the trail since I had to keep stopping to catch my breath. Although the trail is challenging, trust me, the views from the top are definitely rewarding. At several points on this trail, I thought I had made it to the top, only to realize that I still had a lot more to go. Luckily, I had brought my backpack with me, which had several bottles of water and snacks. Bring lots of water with you because you will need it.
I don't want to force my body.
I almost felt like giving up several times during this entire thing, and what kept me going were the people around me encouraging me to keep on climbing. If this is your first time doing this, you will probably feel that same way, and although it's important to listen to your body, if you are in good physical health and you feel well enough to climb, I strongly encourage you to keep going. It does eventually get easier, and you will love the natural high that you feel once you're at the top. And just think about all the Instagram-worthy photos that you can take. Please also know that there is very limited cell service out here. In fact, I tried to text my husband several times while I was up here, and my text messages just would not go through. This obviously gave me some anxiety, as I was worried in case something happened to me. He would never know where I was or where to find me. So just know this and make sure to plan accordingly. Finally started to feel some relief once I got to the entrance of the so-called Devil's Doorway Passage. It's characterized by rugged terrain, large rock walls on both sides, and steps that have been carved out to make the climb possible. Once you pass through this rocky corridor, you're going to be rewarded with spectacular views of Devil's Lake and the surrounding bluffs. So once you see this, just know that the end of the climb is near. By the way, rock climbing here is pretty popular, and there are several guided climbing trips and courses for all skill levels, including rope, rappelling, and lead climbing. If that happens to be something that you're into, you can plan out your day by heading to www.devilslakeclimbingguides.com. By now, you'd think that I'd be exhausted, but what I actually felt was a state of bliss, probably from knowing that I had just done something super challenging and was about to be rewarded with stunning views.
Let me take the backpack off. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Yeah. Just as long as the water's showing. Yeah.
I would have gotten even better views of the lake had I kept on going, and granted I really did try to make my way around this area, but with my husband and kids being downstairs waiting for me and not having a way to contact them to let them know I was okay, I just had to cut my trip short. So after spending some time up here admiring the gorgeous views below, taking pictures, and having my picture taken, it was time for me to begin heading back down. Luckily, the way down was much easier than coming up, but you still need to be extra careful because one misstep of your foot could be dangerous, and I was told that many people had fallen to their death from here, unfortunately, and I don't mean to scare you, but I'd much rather prepare you for the worst so that you know exactly what to expect. Alright, so here are some tips for you based on the things that I learned the hard way while I was here. These are things I definitely wish I knew before coming here. Tip number 1, you want to avoid going on the weekends if possible. Though having people there on the trail was a huge blessing as we all encouraged each other to climb the difficult trail, the parking situation was a nightmare, so needless to say, we'll be coming here on a weekday next time. Tip number 2, take someone with you, especially if you're a beginner. There is hardly any cell service in these hiking trails, making it near impossible to communicate with the outside world, so having someone there with you can help in case of an emergency. Tip number 3, take 2 to 3 bottles of water, one frozen if possible. I found myself chugging that water when I was going up the trail, and trust me when I say this, you will need it too. Tip number 4, avoid the Pothole Trail if you're a beginner. Stick to trails like the Tumbled Rocks Trail, the Grottos Trail, or even the East Bluff Woods Trail. And you can find all of the information regarding these and other trails before you plan to go by heading to www.devilslakewisconsin.com/activities. And finally, tip number 5, don't be afraid to give yourself a challenge. Had I known that the Pothole Trail was one of the hardest ones there, I probably would have tried to stop myself from trying it. And although there were many points during the climb where I felt like I was going to give up, I decided to just keep on going. And you guys, it ended up being 100% worth the climb, and I felt amazing when I finally made it to the top. Now, of course, consult your doctor before doing any sort of climb like this, and use your best discretion. And there you have it, a great place to hike, swim, rock climb, and take in all the views here in the Midwest. If you found this video helpful at all, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel so we can continue to bring you travel content and guides just like this. And until next time, keep exploring, keep discovering, and keep making memories.